Hello everyone. Oh, jeez. Hello everyone, March 16th, 2023. Welcome to our weekly live session. We are here in Toronto and we're talking about the Startup Visa program today. I'm just making sure we're live everywhere on Facebook and YouTube before we start. Perfect. I believe we're live, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, we're streaming on 2 or 3 platforms at least, and we're talking about Startup Visa program today in our weekly Thursday live session. You can't live with it and you can't live without it. It's a love-hate relationship we all have with the Canadian Federal Startup Visa program, also commonly known as the SUV. It's one of the most common, it's one of the most popular business immigration programs for Canada since 2018. Although it was launched in 2013, it's become super popular since 2018 onwards. Immigration agents, lawyers, consultants, and some clients love it. Today we'll find out why it's so popular and contested program is loved by so many people and detested by the rest. All of the advantages and disadvantages of the Startup Visa program explained to you with zero bias. The raw truth and nothing but the truth. Hello, my name is Reza. Quick introduction. I work with the Ingwe immigration team helping applicants move to Canada. Whether it's for yourself, your kids, or your startup business, well, we make it happen. Are you tired of immigration companies pushing one specific program down your throat without providing options based on your actual eligibility criteria in order for you to make a decision on which program to apply for? Well, instead of them deciding for you, with our office, you're in control of your own destiny, and the final decision is up to you, not us. Let me make this clear. I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed team, working on actual applications and communicating with immigration departments and the overseas embassies on behalf of our clients, representing them on a daily basis. These videos are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience. Let's get to it. So if you're thinking of applying for the Startup Visa program but haven't decided yet, and if you don't know yet about the Canadian Startup Visa program, I recommend you to first watch our introductory videos on our YouTube channel about this program before you figure out the advantages and the disadvantages. The Federal Business Immigration Program. The Startup Visa program is one of 2 federal business immigration programs which offers direct PR. There are not a lot of choices out there when it comes to direct PR business immigration programs in Canada, especially on the federal side. Why would the SUV program or the Startup Visa program be a perfect fit for applicants? Here's the list of the main advantages and reasons anyone would apply for this program. And then obviously we're going to cover the disadvantages after. So number 1 advantage, you can apply directly for PR from outside Canada upon receiving the letter of support from the designated organization and meeting all the eligibility criteria. 2, no documented minimum investment amount required for the startup group co-founders, unlike the provincial entrepreneur programs, which are very strict. 3, the only program in all of Canada where up to 5 co-founders can apply together under one business and one investment. Number 4, relatively low language score requirements at Canadian Language Benchmark 5 in either English or French. Number 5, no geographic restrictions in Canada under this Startup Visa program. You can settle, work in any part of Canada except Quebec until your PR is confirmed. You can even move around to other parts of the country while your application is in process, and you won't be stuck in one place the whole time. 6, no mandatory requirements to be inside Canada for a specific period of time. 7, no net worth audit requirements for applicants as the co-founders. 8, work permit option to enter Canada, but not mandatory. And number 9, education is not mandatory as per the program requirements. Although having 0 work experience and 0 education would definitely lead to a potential refusal. Unfortunately, there wasn't a 10th one to make it a nice round figure of 10 advantages, but there you have it. 9 key advantages for the startup visa program for Canada. And considering all these advantages, here's the ideal profile of applicants who this program would be a great fit. Applicants and families who have dependent children turning 22 in the next month, 6 months, or a year. The SUV program is the fastest program, the startup visa program, is the fastest program to lock in your dependent child's age with your application from overseas, so they will not have to apply separately, because as you know, in Canada, as of the age of 22, on their 22nd birthday, your children are no longer considered dependents. However, if you apply for the PR application together, even if it's a day before their birthday, their age is locked in and they have to continue to maintain their dependency on you as the parent or guardian. Designated organizations we work with have special emergency lines available just for these types of cases. Okay? Another profile ideal for a startup visa would be applicants who do not want to enter Canada but want to wait for their PR before arrival to Canada. This is probably the only business immigration program out there in Canada, besides the self-employed program, offering this type of, let's say, quote-unquote golden visa equivalent opportunity for Canadian PRs without entering Canada. The only other exception is the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program, which is supposed to reopen this year, but is slower, much more expensive, and you need specific proof on the accumulation of your wealth for the past 10 or 20 years, depending on your profile. And it's only restricted to Quebec in case you want your family or children to study inside Canada while you're waiting for your PR outside of Canada, maybe running your business and making money, right? Well, many people ask me, what are the disadvantages of the Canadian startup visa, the federal? Why would somebody hesitate to apply under this program, this business immigration program to Canada? And what kind of profiles would not be a good fit for the startup visa program? Here's a list of the main disadvantages and potential risks with the federal startup visa program of Canada. Number 1, it's a group activity. This can be a positive point, but it can also be a negative point. If you have multiple essential members in your group and one of them withdraws halfway through your PR application process after the letter of support, or one of the members, essential members, has some kind of criminality or medical issues which you were not aware of when they joined the group or you joined the group, or misrepresented information on their application form, which means it's a default refusal, not just for the essential member themselves, but for the whole group. Every single member, whether you're essential or not, one essential member is refused, the whole group is wiped out by default. There's no exception to this, and if, of course, this is a negative risk that you have to consider. And no matter how successful or proactive the startup is, if one essential member is refused, the whole group is refused. This means you would not be in 100% control of your own fate and immigration plans, but dependent on other members of your startup group to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Disadvantage number 2, it has one of the lowest approval rates out there for any Canadian or even worldwide business immigration programs. I'm still wondering why the startup visa program is so popular for everyone. So let's put this in this way. If you want to understand why I'm wondering with such a low approval rate in terms of the calculations. If you're paying $10 as an example for the startup visa program, but I know you're paying more than that, at an approval rate of 50 to let's say 60%, your potential cost for this program is actually anywhere from $16.7 to $20. If you don't understand how I came up with this calculation, well, maybe this program is the right fit for you. And if you do understand the logic of my calculations, then this startup program is not for you, most likely. Number 3, disadvantage. In continuation of the point we just mentioned, there's too much discretionary power under the Canadian Startup Visa Program for IRCC officers, which means the Canadian Immigration Department, to decide on whether to approve or refuse you as a startup group. And so far, there has been no successful judicial review of a refused PR case in all of the history of the Canadian Startup Visa Program, which means federal court appeals after refusal. Unless you're in a very strong startup group with serious traction and activities, your future in Canada is up to the IRCC officer's discretionary decision. And if they didn't have their coffee that morning when they're deciding on your file, well, then it's just too bad. The issue with the program is that there's so much vagueness, gray area, and such minimal eligibility criteria that a lot of low quality applications are submitted in the hopes of receiving a Canadian permanent residency approval. This has raised eyebrows with the IRCC, and they have started scrutinizing applications in much more detail for anyone who applied 2020 and onwards. Disadvantage number 4. It used to have one of the highest approval rates for the optional work permit under the Startup Visa Program. But now it's one of the lowest approval rates as of October 2022 onwards. If you do not have very active startup business or do not already hold a valid visitor visa to US and Canada and are from a high volume or high refusal region, then obtaining a work permit under this program is not going to be super easy. Just because you applied for a Canadian PR application and have a temporary application number doesn't mean by default that they'll approve your work permit application as well, with that proper proof of your startup's progress and plans for Canada with the significant benefit factors. Watch our other YouTube videos to find out about that. Disadvantage number 5, and I promise you this is the last disadvantage. It has a long processing time, the Startup Visa Program. Officially on the IRCC website, it says 2.5 years for the PR decision to be issued. But now we're actually seeing 1.5 years, closer to 1.5 years. It's not the slowest business immigration program out there, like the Quebec Immigrant Investor Program, which can take over 4 years for non-French speaking applicants. But it's also not the fastest program out there for Canadian business immigration applicants. If you need to be inside Canada fast with your PR, this is not the option for you in terms of the Startup Visa Program. Well, there you have it, folks. The unbiased comparison of the advantages and the disadvantages of the Canadian Startup Visa Program. You either love it or you avoid it. Which category do you fall under? Well, let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. And some of you may ask me, Reza, do you recommend the Startup Visa Program or not? I don't understand which side you're on. Well, my answer to this question is it depends on your profile. We just don't like it when somebody signs up for the program and doesn't know what they're getting themselves into and have other expectations which are not realistic with this specific program. We have many Startup Visa clients, obviously, and represent many groups who are either already inside Canada or on the way here or outside of Canada actively working on their startup businesses. This is a great program as long as you do your homework before you decide. Our office makes sure our clients understand all the facts before they sign up for this program and offer them a selection of other immigration program options which they can pick from. The choice is up to you, our client, not us, as long as you meet the minimum eligibility criteria of your preferred program. And if you believe that the Startup Visa Program is a good fit for you, well, join us March 23rd, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we will be hosting with a designated organization in Canada to speak about what they're looking for in startups who apply for admission to their program and are looking for a letter of support, and our service provider, Launchpath, who assists startups before and post admission and post letter of support. We will have a Q&A session where you can ask all your questions and raise your concerns about the startup visa program. And our panel will answer them live for you next Thursday, March 23rd. So make sure you register using the link below this video, as well available on the rest of our social media platforms. So take care and see you on March 23rd. And if you're watching this video after March 23rd, well, we're here every Thursday in our regular live session like we're today. And if you're thinking about immigrating, whether permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. I can guarantee you only one point. You will know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our legal agreements are based on payment milestones, which is linked directly to your application progression. We don't take 100% advance payment for your Canadian business immigration application. And if you're looking for discounts, look no further. I know of a great website called Amazon.com that offers great discounts on millions of items. But if you're looking for results in your immigration plan, well, then you're in the right place. That's our expertise. No surprises, no promotions, just results. We have a $1 million liability insurance which protects you and us from mistakes or fraud, as well as a dedicated client trust account in our Canadian banks. Our team speaks over 9 languages, and we've helped over 49 different nationalities during their immigration process. And this list, of course, is growing every day. Click the link below this video and get a free email assessment for eligible applicants. And if you're ready to apply and you'd like a one-on-one session with me or one of my licensed immigration team members at Ingwe, you can also book a session directly using the consultation link in the description of this video. And if you have questions, remember we're here weekly live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram every Thursday, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your questions for free on the spot for 60 minutes dedicated to you. And yes, we are in a live and we are going to go into our comments and sessions. Nice to see everyone. And we're looking at the comments and sessions on YouTube. Unfortunately, our streaming software does not allow us to see Facebook or Instagram live comments or questions. So if you've got questions, hop on over to YouTube. So we've got Ugona Ebi. Hello, Reza. Hello, Ugona. Nice to connect with you. Nice to see you. Almon says hello. Hello back to you, Almon. Nice to see you. Artram Tulsiram. Hello, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Daniels Dorsey. Hello. Hello back to you, Daniels. And Rosita Ibrahimi says hello, Reza June. Hello back to you, Rosita. Artram Tulstrom says, I'm interested in migrating to Canada. However, I've tried a lot of companies. I would like to hear... Okay, I'm waiting for the rest of that, Artram. Oluvakami Ayodele. Thank you so much. Avoid it totally. No worries, Olukavemi. It's up to you, right? We give you the information. You make the decision. That's how it works. We don't make the decision for you. We just check your eligibility for the program. But again, the startup visa is not for everyone, but it's a great program, right? And it can also be not a great program depending on your profile and what you're looking for. Istiak Papon says, hello Reza, can you ask about work permit? Yeah, of course, Istiak. You can ask any question on our live, okay? This live, the next Thursday's live, any live session, you can ask any immigration related question. And if it's within our capacity, we will answer and guide, but as a general information guidance. Obviously, we don't know everyone's specific profiles, and we're not giving specific immigration consultation to you specifically, but we're providing information regarding general questions here in our live session. So, Angel says, hi Reza. Did I hear it right? 1.5 year processing as of now based on the client's experience. Angel, this is the new processing times that we're seeing, and it's closer to 1.5. So it means the people who've been in the queue since 2020 onwards, you're still seeing the 2.5 years, okay? And the people who apply now, they're not going to see 2.5 years. And you're probably going to see that by the end of this year, ircc website will be updated, right? That we're seeing closer to 1.5. So it could be 2, it could be 1.8, it could be 1.5. It really depends. And as you know, startup visa applications are very sporadic. We have a video being released, I'm not sure, maybe tomorrow, and we talk about processing times and some statistics. Jai Jewel says, hello Reza. Hello back, Jai Jewel. Nice to see you. Daniels Dorsey says, Reza, can I consult you on a study permit? Sure, Daniels. I mean, if you have questions, post them here. If it's within my capacity, I will try to guide you and provide you general information. If you want a one-on-one, for sure, I can be available as well. You just make sure you ask for me. Elohim Rebecca. Hi Reza, you mentioned SUV applicants can add points in EE stream via LMIA exam. How much points can one have and what are the requirements? Hi Elohim. You can either, well, there's only 2 options in express entry for points. It's either 50 points or 200 points. There's really no in between. The way you have to do it is that you run payroll for 1 year under your startup visa program inside Canada with a valid LMI exempt work permit. And then after 1 year, if you have the payroll and the fact that you work in your own company, you can claim 50 points. You could claim 200 points, but you need to go through the whole process of proving that you are in a C-level position and your operations are active. You've got, multiple staff, you've got departments. That's how you claim 200 points after running payroll after a year. Other than that, it's 50 points. I hope I've answered your question. Daniels Dorsey, I got an admission from a college and it expired on 13th March. Can I still go ahead with the visa process? You'd have to get a deferral, Daniel. So you cannot get an admission that's expired and you don't have proof of deposit and with a proper intake period. If you do, they'll refuse you. So make sure you talk to the college or the designated learning institution that has given you the letter of admission in order to obviously apply and be eligible to apply for a study permit. I missed one. I missed a couple of points here. Allow you to mention. Yeah, Angel. So what is your prediction for March 22nd applicants? 22nd. Oh, March 2022 applicants. Actually, we have some clients who applied in March, so there's no news yet. I would say towards the end of this year, because anyone who's applied back then, 2020, 2021, 2022, you're sort of stuck in this whole 2.5 year period, right? But I'm guessing by the end of this year, you'll see some activity on your file. Oluvakemi Ayodele, please, how can you check my eligibility requirements for work permit under the caregiver with a positive LMIA? Caregivers through home and not pilot. Yeah, we'd have to receive your information, Oluvakemi, in terms of, your work experience, language ability, education, and the employer who's sponsoring you. Ugona Ebi. Reza, I'm tired of waiting for the SUV. I want to get a work visa. I've attended several interviews with Canadian employers, but the challenge remains a work visa. Yeah, Ugona, it's not easy to apply for a work permit from outside Canada and be hired and expect it for the employer to have never met you and hire you. It doesn't happen too often. It does happen in 2 cases. One, IT recruitment, but that's dropped significantly because there's a IT hiring freeze. And then another one is massive recruitment for low-skilled workers where factories go overseas and they have specific countries that they're targeting. But let me know what profession you're in. It'd be interesting for me. Jai Jewel, hello Reza. I applied for PR under the startup since 2021 December, and I'm yet to get the permanent application number. Yeah, you will soon. This year, definitely you'll receive it, Jai. A lot of 2021 applicants have already received their permanent file numbers. Jul, I also sent a web form to address the refusal of my SUV work permit since 2 weeks ago now. I've requested for reconsideration. Should I just wait? You can. It'll be a tough one, but yeah. I mean, typically we usually email the embassy that's issued the refusal. We don't usually do it through web form, but you can obviously. Elohim Rebecca, IRCC gives instructions for LMI exempt work permit under SUV. Working hours, wages are in zero. In this case, if payroll is different from LMI exempt, can I still be valid for adding the 50 points? Yeah, so inside Canada, you're actually paying yourself a payroll, okay? And you're like, yeah, so that's fine. As long as you run the payroll and it's continuous and you can meet the minimum 30 hours a week for 52 weeks requirement, less 2 weeks vacation pay, continuous full time, you can claim the 50 points after 1 year, correct. Angel, any official data about the inventory remaining of 2020, 2022? There was some data, but 2021 very incomplete. There was some data on 2020, but I believe in the video we're releasing, I'm talking about some 2021 or 2 impartial, like incomplete inventories. Jai Jewel, also, can my business incubator issue me an LMIA so I can get an LMIA work permit? No, they don't do LMIAs. I don't think any designated organization would do an LMIA. Sorab Sona, will work permit rejections affect the PR decision? Yes. Okay, yes. I'm not gonna elaborate. I mean, I can elaborate, but there's no but to after that. It's just a solid yes. And I've concurred with that with several of my immigration practitioner colleagues, lawyers, consultants. It's a solid, hard yes. Jai Jewel, instead of having to wait for the reconsideration, no Jai, unfortunately, no LMIs from an incubator or angel investor or VC. Elohim Rebecca, thank you, Reza. How much is the payroll? How much should the payroll be for this SUV applicant? Where should I see more information on the wage number? Actually, interesting question, Elohim. So there's no, in express entry, there's no wage requirement as long as you pay minimum wage for the province you're in. So technically you could do that. We usually don't like that because we don't want to tickle the officer, right? To find another excuse for refusal. So if you're claiming some management or an operations or anything, you're an engineer in IT, I would say try to go somewhere between minimum to median and not to push it too low to the minimum. Although officially as per the regulations, there's no requirement in express entry for a median wage or a specific occupation specific wage. It just has to be minimum wage. Okay, so you have the facts, you can make a decision on that. And if you're just joining us right now, we are in our live session, which is weekly live on Thursdays, 11 a.m. local time in Toronto, where we answer all of your questions for immigration that we're capable of doing. Okay, so that seems to be a lot of the questions on work permits today. And Gustavo Henry has a question. How long in average does the startup visa process last for Mexican applicants? Gustavo, for the PR applications, it's typically around the same range. So if you had applied in 2020, 2021, 2022, you're looking at around 2.5 years. 2 years to 2.5 years. Maybe around 2 years to get a permanent PR file number from IRCC. If you're applying today, we expect that number to drop drastically. We're releasing a video tomorrow and we're explaining why we believe that and what is the information that we have that justifies the fact that we believe that number will be 1.5 to 2 years, closer to 1.5, but let's say 1.5, 1 year, 8 months, 9 months maybe, between the 1.5 to 2 year period over the next year, and then that number will drop further. But I don't think we'll see anything below 1.5 years ever for the startup visa program because they don't want it to be a fast track program intentionally. Okay, the startup visa program will intentionally not go beyond one. It's kind of like those speed limits you see on the street where you kind of, stuck and that speed limit. That's what they want to do, because if it's too fast and too easy, everyone will just do a startup visa application, and they don't want that. So anywhere from 1 year 6 months to 1 year 12 months, that's where we see that startup visa program going. From Mexico, it's good. It'll be similar. From certain countries, we're seeing a little bit faster processing, but in general, the PR processing is similar for everyone. The work permit applications are much faster in Mexico than they are, let's say, from Middle East or Africa for startup visa, and actually for almost any type of work permit application. Jai Jewel on YouTube is asking, my incubator was gracious enough to give me a work permit support letter. What can I do with that? Because I've been waiting since last year, January, for the work permit, and then they refused me. Well, the support letter, I'm not sure if it's beyond the letter of support or the commitment certificate, where it says why it's urgent for you to come in. If it's a separate letter, that's a good designated organization. But besides that, IRCC will put literally no weight to that. To them, the value of that is as much as it is for this. So their value of your letter of support for a work permit is this. It's a piece of paper to them. Means nothing. Okay, I'm sorry to say that, but that's how IRCC, that's how much weight they put on letters of support from designated organization. Elohim Rebecca, I haven't paid payroll as a startup visa applicant before. I heard it from you. Can I pay myself right now and after working in Canada for 1 year at one time for a whole salary? No, sorry, you can't. So it goes back to express entry regulations. You cannot accelerate your 1 year work experience. Oh, I'm going to work 80 hours a week instead of the minimum 30 to calculate as 1 year continuous full time. Elohim Rebecca, yeah, so we've answered that. Oluvakemi Ayodole, please, does a positive LMIA means higher visa approval and does travel history to US help as well? Yes. Positive LMIA, obviously if you're applying for work permit, that's required maybe in many categories. And if you have a US visa, great. You just have to show financial ties and your ability to do the job based on that job offer that your employer has given. So your work experience documents are critical. Even if you have a US visa, a valid LMIA, but you don't have the documentation to prove that you meet the minimum requirements of that position, that could be an area where they could, refuse you. For example, I'm just giving you an example of what's important for IRCC. Angel, processing times are still 33 weeks, but can we expect this to go down soon? Not soon. I would say end of this year or earlier next year, they might put that. And potentially we'll have to see, because IRCC is sneaky. They might now want to update it, so they're not promoting this program. They're not maybe, giving positive news, because they're literally a black box. They're not talking about startup visa. They're not disclosing anything, right? So I don't expect any time till end of this year, early next year to see changes, if we see any changes on the officially posted processing times. Hillary Ducour, about 5 months after applying for the work permit under the startup visa program, IRCC asked me for an update on my accounts, and everything's quiet afterwards. What could be holding it up? It depends on your nationality, what embassy you're dealing with, Hillary, and the key is they're cracking down, and it's 5 months. So it sounds like you're stuck in that policy change that occurred September, October of last year on work permit approval. So they're tightening their grip on startup visa work permit applicants from overseas. Okay, so you do have to give them all the proper information, and then they will decide, do you meet the requirements as per the LMI exempt work permit criteria for the startup visa, or you don't. And I'm not surprised that it's taking them that long to get back to you. Ugona Ebi, I'm an engineer, mechanical, and I want to get work permits. I'm waiting endlessly for the startup visa. Will any successful if I apply for dual intent? Well, you can't get a job offer from another company to work as an engineer while you actually have a PR application, because then you have to withdraw that, or it'll be refused, because they can't be, you can't be oh, I'm part of the startup, I'm a founder, I'm active, and then no, I've got a job offer in something completely different with another employer in Canada. So talk to your co-founders if you do. If you're an essential member, ooh, that's going to be a tough one. And we covered that in our disadvantages today in the video. And if you missed our video at the beginning of this live session that we have every Thursday, within an hour, you're going to have the posted video, and you can, fast forward to the advantages, disadvantage of the startup visa program. And again, folks, I'm neutral here in terms of the startup visa program or any program. I don't say yes, I don't say no. All I'm saying, know what you're getting yourself into, understand the requirements, understand the expectations you have, understand the expectations of the decision maker, the eye in the sky, IRCC. Yeah, Ugona. So if you're non-essential and you're really willing to withdraw or have your startup refuse, send me your resume. Like to have a look at it. Okay. Olu, and I mentioned you interacted with me on YouTube. Oluvakame Ayodele, thank you so much. No problem. Daniels Dorsey, Reza, please, how do I get in touch? No worries. I mean, you have our website. There's a contact form. Or you email us at info@ingwe.ca. I don't answer all those emails, but you can mention that you interacted with me and this is your case. Okay, you're willing to fill out the intake form, the pre-assessment form, and this is what you need help with. And our team will assist, and if you need a consultation, obviously we have the consultation link below this video and all of our videos as well. So that's the way we work. And the justification, everyone, if in the future you're wondering, why do you want us to fill out a form with all of our information? Well, if you're not willing to spend 5 minutes on a form, what do you expect of us? Right? Elohim Rebecca, thank you so much, Reza. Payroll can be paid as yearly salary, only counts if it's paid monthly. Yeah, I mean, Elohim, I want to tell you and everyone about this. Immigration is not complicated. It's all about common sense. Would you work for a company that paid you once a year at the end of the year? Yeah, unless it was $10 million. No, I don't think so, right? Same thing. This won't work. Everyone gets paid bi-weekly or monthly, right? That's how it works in Canada. And probably most of the world, except I heard in Zimbabwe, they get paid twice a day because of the currency devaluation. Interesting factoid. Very interesting. Dr. A32, I like that name. Hello, Reza. It's true that there is some proposition that all the team members will be encouraged to come over with work permit going forward for SUV. Well, it's tough to say, Dr. A32. Encouraged to apply, but they're refusing. So that would be contradictory to the policies they've already implemented end of last year to crack down on work permits from startups. So to be honest with you, I can say, based on the information I have, that I don't believe that to be true. But if it is, great. If it's not, it makes more sense to me, right? And I'm a person who bases it on facts, folks, not theory, not rumors, not, I don't know, not fluff. That's why we tell you the truth and nothing but the truth, the raw truth based on facts. Angel, is it true that SUV PR online applications are processed faster than paper? At least they're getting quicker AORs. It is, Angel. They do get quicker AORs. Although it was funny because last year or the year before, we actually applied for PR because through the paper and it was faster. But then it switched and now online is a little bit more efficient. And I highly recommend online for anyone who's doing it now. And also we're doing that for our clients. Hayat Khan. Hello, Reza. Thank you so much. No problem, Hayat. We're here for you for 1 hour, that window, every Thursday, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time. Jai Jewel. I've just 1 month left in my incubator before graduation from the program and in good stand. Can I use this for any other country that might be quicker? I mean, it's not of any use, Jai, if you have an incubator in Canada and you're looking to go to UK, for example, right? Because we do handle startups for UK, Spain, and Canada, folks. And if, you know, US is very difficult. The startup visa program has so many difficult requirements that, to be honest with you, it's probably just easier to buy a business in the US through E2 program, for example. Hien Dang, good morning. If we have received medical requests, how long will we have final decision for PR from IRCC? It can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months, Hien Dang, depending on what the application category is, where you are inside or outside of Canada. Inside Canada is always faster. Outside of Canada, and if it's family sponsorship, it's pretty fast. But if you're in a business category, then it could be a little bit longer. If you're in express entry, it's also super fast. Okay, but you usually need to have done that already. Ahmad Masri, hi. When do you think they will prioritize construction management jobs for visa processing? So Ahmad, the prioritization is through the provincial programs for specific occupations, right? And through specific LMIA applications, occupations on the federal stage. But construction is not in there right now. I believe Global Talent Stream has some engineering jobs that are now prioritized, and then each province has their own prioritized occupations. Bhupinder, hi, good morning, just joined today. Hello, Bhupinder, nice to see you. I have to rewind to see today's session. Bhupinder, so Bhupinder is one of our dedicated viewers, folks, and of course, if you join and you're here regularly like Bhupinder, I'll know you. It's kind of like, it's a different relationship, I think. Bhupinder, we talked about startup visa today, the advantages versus disadvantages, and exactly as it is. No fluff, no sugarcoating. And as I'm saying, everyone, I am neutral. I am not against startup visa, and I'm not for it 100%, because one program cannot fit everyone. It's kind of like, it's like one shoe. Will it fit everyone? No, of course not. If it's right for you, it can be the perfect program. And if it's not right for you, it can be a nightmare, right? So Rahul, hi Reza, what's the processing time for SUV work permits outside Canada? Hello Rahul, nice to connect with you here on our YouTube. Outside Canada, depending on where you are, we're seeing 2.5 to 3.5 month average processing times in the India subcontinent. In Pakistan, could be similar. Middle East, slower. Africa, slower. Central South America, 2 months to 3 months. Okay, Europe, always fast. You've got 4 or 5 week processing times. It's nice. I wish I was a European. Maybe not. Prefer to be Canadian for now. Jai Jewel, Reza, what's the success rate for this Canadian PR process now? Also, what will you advise? Can I get a provincial nomination since my incubator has bond with the provincial government? Yeah, Ju, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot of options. The PR processing time right now, considering that you've applied maybe a year or 2 years ago, takes about 2.5 years for a decision, okay? We've got groups that we've handled from A to Z that are now being reviewed and a decision coming. And when did they apply? 2020. And then the groups that have applied in 2020 are getting a decision the first half of this year, okay? In terms of provincial nomination, it depends. Really on the province, the programs, right? An offer of employment is critical because provincial programs are usually based on employers offering a genuine job to a skilled worker, or it could be entrepreneur programs, or it could be skilled immigration streams like the Saskatchewan one, or human capital streams similar to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario. Rahul, same here. I'm from India. Thanks. No problem, Rahul. Hien Dang, thank you so much. I mean, medical request for startup visa program. How confident level for approval for PR if you get a work permit? I'm from Vietnam. Yeah, Hien Dang, I noticed the name. And yes, Vietnam officially is number 4 or 3 on the most number of applicants who've applied for the startup visa program in terms of source countries. In our video tomorrow, I think I go through those statistics as well. It's not a live video, but it's an actual pre-recorded video we're releasing this week. In terms of the medical request, it's good sign, Hian Dang. So that means if you've got a medical request, I would tell you that 90% plus you'll be approved. Okay, as long as nothing unusual happens halfway, no eligibility, no medical issues come up for you or any of your other essential members in your startup group. Ugonayabi, my spouse got an admission. Do you think I can apply for a work permit as a dependent? Yeah, since I have pending SUV, please, I need your expert advice. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It is possible. But remember this, it's possible. It can be done. But later on, when you're looking at your startup visa application, in terms of you reviewing your application to make a decision, they'll be like, okay, you went and got a open work permit. You entered Canada. Did you work on your startup? Do you have proof to provide that? Or did you go and get a job and work? And that could ruin your startup visa application. So remember, folks, having an open work permit is a double-edged sword if you've got another application like a startup visa PR application. Bhupinder, one question. What's the difference between IRCC consultant and a lawyer? Oh, good question, Bhupinder. Immigration consultant and immigration lawyer. Yeah, I'll break it down for you, okay? The raw truth. Again, no fluff, no sugarcoating. Immigration lawyers, obviously, they receive legal education and they're licensed by the Upper Law Society of Canada. They're licensed in their provinces to practice all types of law, okay? And this means they can practice immigration law, they can practice real estate law, they can practice criminal, commercial, estate law, anything, international law. And they can take your cases to federal court, right? They can apply for judicial review and they can represent you in Canadian federal court if there's a refusal and you believe there's an error in law in terms of the decision of the IRCC on your application, okay? So they are legally allowed to handle and represent clients in all matters of immigration, both doing applications, the Immigration Refugee Board, Immigration Appeals Division, the RAD, and federal court, okay? So you could be dealing with a lawyer who also does real estate law, immigration, family, corporate law, you know, all sorts of things. There's no limitation to that, okay? We work with lawyers, we work with consultants. Immigration consultants are licensed and regulated by the college, we call it, the CICC. To be honest with you, they changed the name so many times. I forgot. The Canadians, CI is the Canadian Immigration Consultants of Canada, or yeah, something, Citizenship Immigration Consultants of Canada. I think that's what it is actually. Sorry, I should know what it means, but so that is the college that regulates. That's the body that regulates consultants. Consultants go through a 1-year postgraduate program that allows them to be licensed. They take an exam, right? So much shorter education than lawyers. And they're allowed only to do immigration and citizenship. That's it. They cannot do real estate, commercial law, this. And they cannot represent you in federal court for your immigration. They can represent you in the Immigration Appeal Division and the Refugee Appeal Division of the Immigration Refugee Board, which is tribunal system. But they cannot take it and represent you in federal court, okay? So that's key to understand. So immigration consultants, they have their own regulatory body, they get the education, and all they do is immigration. There's over 5,000 immigration consultants, and they can specialize in different categories of immigration, but that's all they do. Lawyers, they get their legal, like law degree, they have to be licensed, right? They have to be a member of the bar, both provincial and it's all mandated over the Upper Law Society of Canada. They can practice any kind of law and they can represent in federal court. That's the difference. You know, if you ask ChatGPT what the difference is, they'll say lawyers are more expensive than consultants. I don't know. Sometimes lawyers are cheaper. Who knows? But you have good consultants, you have bad consultants. You have good lawyers, you have bad lawyers. It's a preference thing and who you know. That's the difference, Bhupinder. Saqib Shamsi, hi Raz. And I'm a consultant, not a lawyer. And if I want to convince somebody to work with me, I'll just be like, well, if you think it'll be refused and you need a lawyer, then yeah, just go to a lawyer from the beginning. But if you're looking for actual results, and if you want 100% dedicated client that we won't charge you per minute, and we get your case done successfully, yeah, we can do that. And of course, we work with our own lawyers that we have in our network for federal court. So it doesn't mean that you work with an immigration consultant, you won't have the opportunity for federal court judicial review. It's just that a lawyer will be hired at that point. Saqib Shamsi, hi Reza, I like your name, I'm waiting for your email. Saqib, oh yes. Saqib, I believe 2 days ago, my colleague passed your details on to me. I will work on that for sure. Thanks for reminding me. Angel, is a validated stage of a venture enough of a criteria for startup visa PR? No. Validated stage. I mean, that just basically means you've completed a milestone, Angel. Hien Dang, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that. Well, Hien, it's not 100%. Your medical results are important. And if you're an essential member and you've got other essential members, their medicals are also important. Remember that. Gap, postgraduate work permit expired October 2022. I'm still waiting for results of the restoration status of the PG and PGWP extension through special public policy for 2022. Wow, okay. It does take 5-6 months, Gap. So I only have an interim work authorization until May this year. I'm still eligible to be the primary applicant of a common law spousal sponsorship. Yes, can I apply for an open work permit? Ooh. Okay, Gap. So when you do a restoration, yeah, the public policy, I don't remember all the exact details, so I can't advise you on that because there's those details that it slipped my mind. But going back to your question, common law, yeah, you can do common law anytime, right? And then when you apply for common law and a work permit, you withdraw the other application. So yes, common law at any time or spousal sponsorship is possible. In terms of your eligibility for the previous policy to extend your postgraduate work permit and with the restoration have an interim authorization to continue working, that I don't know, and I have my suspicions on that. But I don't remember the policy details exactly, so I'm not going to advise you on that. But yeah, halfway through, you can do a U-turn, do a common law, withdraw that application, and apply for open work permit. Make sure you've got a solid common law sponsorship application. No problem. Bhupinder, thank you. I will join Ingwe after reaching there. No problem, Bhupinder. Let me know when you are planning to come to Canada. Would love to see if our schedules match. But if not, at least being in touch. Folks, please remember to connect you. Oh, our chat has disconnected. Okay, folks, we are up now for our 1 hour session. We will be back here next Thursday. We've got our webinar about startup visa with a designated organization coming in, and we're hosting it. And they're going to talk about why. What are they looking for in a startup? Well, what do they look for when they admit a startup? And we're going to have one of our service providers, Launchpath, who prepares startups to get admitted to all kinds of designated organizations and supporting them with post-LOS as well. Jai Jules says, I guess I just have to wait for the reconsideration of my work permit and also apply for my PR application approval, or is there anything else to be done whilst I wait? You can't do multiple applications, Jai. I mean, with the PR, it's one PR. You can't have, two PR applications, two different programs. Not much choice unless you withdraw. Angel, does traction mean revenue generation? Oh, traction doesn't have to be revenue. It's not a mandatory requirement, Angel, right? It can be business development, product development, early onboarding clients, partnerships, distribution channels, collaboration on research, academically, or industrial tests. There's a million things that could be considered, or raising money for a startup, right? A startup, maybe they've got an MVP and they've raised money from external investors, right? That could be traction. But again, you've got to show that you're proactive. Okay. I'm plumbing. Hayat Khan. Oh, okay. You're in plumbing. I'm just trying to find your previous message of what it was, Hayat. Hold on. I forget because there's so many people, right? I may forget what you were talking about. Hayat Khan, you're a plumber. Thank you so much. Yeah, send me your resume. But again, language ability is key, Hayat Khan. If you have language ability and you have document to work with, send over your resume. Let's have a look. No worries. Okay. Thanks everyone. Join us. Register for the webinar next Thursday, 8:30 a.m. And of course, we have our lives every Thursday at 11 a.m. That's every week. The webinars happen maybe once in 3 months, but the live session, we answer all of your questions to the ability we have in terms of general guidance and information, not specific to your case because we don't have all the details and we're not representing you. Okay? Take care. We'll see you soon, everyone. Next Thursday. All the best. Bye-bye now.